Hello and welcome to my long-awaited review of the Grand Tour presents Seamen, the first episode of the fourth series. Which dropped on Prime Video on December 13th, 2019, and made for an enjoyable watch. Obviously, we know that Clarkson and Co. are not avid users of boats, but the mission was very simple. All they had to do was navigate their way through the Mekong Delta all the way to Vietnam. Clarkson used a kit-built PBR. These boats were used during the Vietnam War, and he spent $1,000 just to build the boat. Now, I know $1,000 might seem expensive, but he explains in the episode that he had to build the boat from scratch, and not all the parts were made available, so he had to go and I think he said he had to go and make. Some of them were find somewhere that produces parts like what was used. Very interesting, and who knew Jeremy liked PBRs? But there you go. James was in a vintage 1930s motorboat that chugs around like I don't know, at a very slow pace, a bit like what he does in Top Gear and the Grand Tour anyway, because he's Captain Slow and all that. So, but it makes for an enjoyable watch, and I enjoyed it. And then Richard was in a boat that appeared in Miami Vice, a show which professional wrestler and actor, I think, Hulk Hogan appeared in the 80s. So, in terms of boats, well, and the series special as a whole, it's very interesting to see them kind of move away from the whole car scene of the thing, given that Clarkson and Co. are renowned for their insightful car knowledge, both on Top Gear and the Grand Tour and other TV shows respectively. But it's interesting to see a dynamic between them that you don't usually get to see when they're not in their cars and they're surrounded by a completely different environment, I think, by which the fact using boats as a mode of transport, and the only available mode of transport to them at the time was boats. So technically, they had to use the boats in order to do the episode. But yeah, the chemistry between them is fantastic, and not only that, but they managed to take a swipe at Top Gear, I think, as well at the beginning, a few minutes into the beginning of the episode, by saying if you managed to host a car show by now at the stage, you'd probably be done for global warming or something to that effect. And then later, when they finished crossing the river, they then took another swipe at Top Gear for not being able to cross a river or something at some point, which I thought was very funny, and it's hilarious to watch because Clarkson and Co. have a history with Top Gear, and now they're being Top Gear is now not what it used to be, with the new presenters at the helm. But there you go. And there's a what you call it? Oh yeah, there's news on episodes 2 and 3 available on the Drive Tribe YouTube channel, revealed during a Clarkson and Willman pub quiz recently. So for more news on that, and of course I'll have more news on it here on the channel in the coming months, check it out in the link below. And now on to the ratings. What did I give it out of 10? Well, it was a fairly I can't talk. It was a fairly strong start to the fourth series. And given how experienced they are in the field of motor journalism and boating now, it makes for a very interesting watch. It kept me engaged all the way through, and it was very funny as well. So for that aspect of it, I would give it a 9.5 out of 10, which is fairly good, I think, in my book. Episode 2 of the Grand Tour Series 4 returns shortly, I think. That was also another thing that was mentioned in the live pub quiz that Jeremy did with Andy Willman, the executive producer of both Top Gear and the Grand Tour. But until then, thank you very much for watching and, of course, listening to my review of Top Gear of the Grand Tour Presents Seamen, available exclusively on Amazon Prime Video for Amazon Prime Video customers. And I'll see you again in the next one. Bye bye.